The area calculator is a simple little project where we're going to have a rectangle on the screen that's going to change shape as the value of our inputs change. The inputs are the information that we give to the app. The app then manipulates the data and creates a new output. In this case, we're going to have the rectangle change size as the output. To gather the input, we're going to use sliders. So imagine these lines here are sliders. We'll put a circle in the end. We'll have two of those. I feel that we need to have a information to the user to tell them that this particular slider is for the width of the rectangle and this slider is for the height of the rectangle. So with our design completed, we can start looking at our code. As always, bringing down our squiggly brackets by hitting enter and starting with a stack. So the fact that we have multiple objects on our screen means we have to tell the computer how we'd like them to be aligned, how we'd like them to be distributed onto the screen. At the moment, everything is above each other. They're just stacked one on top of each other. So we'll throw them into a V-stack. So you'll note that after I create the opening bracket, you hit enter straight away, creating a closing bracket. Use backspace to move the squiggly bracket so they're in line, the opening and the closing. Then we need a rectangle. For a zoom, the preview, we should have a nice big rectangle in the middle of the screen. Obviously this is too large for what we're requiring, so we change the frame. The rectangle will fit into the exact sizings of the blue frame that sits around the outside of all views. We choose foreground color, choose color.blue. So we have our blue rectangle ready to go. Since we're working in that stack, we can throw our text width inside, then a slider. We open the bracket for the slider to show us the helper. These are the placeholders that where the Xcode is telling us what information it requires. So this one here requires just a value. The second one is the one we're going to use, the value being what we're going to change when the slider is changed in a particular range. So we're looking at what maximum and minimum number can the slider contain. So since we don't have our variable set up just yet, we're going to do .constant and say that the slider is going to be 200 as its value and the range will be 1 to 200. These dots represent all the numbers between 1 and 200. So as we slide the slider up and down, when it reaches the left-hand side, it'll become 1. Everything in between will be the numbers from 1 to 200 at its maximum value. This includes all decimal values in between. Put another text in for height. And again, another slider, opening our brackets, and using the helper, we'll take a value with a range. So .constant of 200. Actually, we'll give this one a value of 100 in the range of 1 is to 200 again. So you'll see on the second slider, the value is 100, so it's halfway between the minimum value of 1 and the maximum value of 200. To create some extra spacing around these objects, we'll have a go at some spacing inside the VStack. But as you can see, the spacing is between the objects vertically, not on the outside. So I'll remove that for now. Instead, we'll try padding on the VStack. And you can see all the objects have now been moved in 20 pixels from the edge of the frame. You can increase that if needed, depending on how you like your app to look.